You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Today we again discuss the ongoing legal battle surrounding R. Kelly, focusing on the misuse of the RICO statute and how its application in this case could set a dangerous precedent for American justice. In this episode, we'll analyze Jennifer Bonjean's arguments before the New York appeals judges and discuss why the government's classification of R. Kelly's alleged enterprise as a criminal RICO organization is not just flawed, but could have dire consequences for justice in this country. Jennifer Bonjean, who is one of the most formidable defense attorneys in the country, took the stand during the New York appeal to argue a crucial point, which is that the prosecution has grossly misapplied the RICO statute in R. Kelly's case. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, commonly known as RICO, was designed to combat organized crime. Think mafia syndicates, drug cartels and large-scale criminal networks where leadership orchestrates unlawful activities through a structured hierarchy. But here's the problem. The prosecution is trying to argue that R. Kelly's career, business and personal relationships constituted a RICO enterprise, simply because some of the individuals around him are said to have engaged in alleged misconduct by simply booking his entourage's travel tickets and packing his bags whenever he went on tour. The government's stance suggests that any organization from a music label to a corporate office could be labeled a criminal enterprise if even one member engages in criminal activity. Now this is so wrong because a RICO enterprise has got to be rooted in crime as a common purpose, and not just an enterprise with a criminal in it. Bonjean made it crystal clear that if the court accepts the government's interpretation of RICO in R. Kelly's case, then we are opening the floodgates for any company, entertainment group or even government agency to be labeled as a RICO enterprise simply because a few bad actors are found within it. She questioned quite rightfully that if this were the standard, wouldn't that also mean that institutions like the Department of Justice, which have had their share of corruption scandals, could also be considered a RICO enterprise? This argument is not just theoretical. It's logical. We have seen numerous cases where individuals within respected institutions have abused their positions. Does this mean the entire organization is criminal? Absolutely not. But that is exactly what is being argued by the government and also by the male appeal judge who kept deflecting with Bonjean in R. Kelly's case. To drive this point home, let's talk about a glaring example. The Bureau of Prisons officer who leaked R. Kelly's private prison communications to the media. This officer used government infrastructure and her position to commit an offense. She of course used some other officers to help her scheme, even if she may have acted alone in breaching privacy and legal ethics. Should the entire Department of Justice now be labeled as a RICO enterprise because one of its officers engaged in criminal activity? This would be a disaster. Using the government's logic in R. Kelly's case, the answer would be yes. But we all know that's not how the justice system should work. This double standard is very alarming. When misconduct happens within government agencies, it's seen as the fault of individuals and not the entire institution. However, when it comes to R. Kelly, prosecutors want to paint his entire business structure as an organized criminal enterprise. This inconsistency is not just hypocritical. It's dangerous. The RICO Act was never intended to be used in this manner. Its original purpose was to dismantle structured crime organizations rooted in crime as a common purpose. Organizations that operated through illegal activities. Classic examples include the mafia, where bosses would order crimes but remain insulated from direct prosecution. The law was a tool to ensure that the heads of such criminal organizations could be held accountable. But R. Kelly is not a crime boss. His career was built on music, entertainment and collaborations. The government is stretching the definition of RICO to make a case that simply doesn't fit. This kind of legal overreach threatens fundamental fairness in the justice system. If the court upholds this flawed interpretation of RICO, where does it end? Should every company with an employee who allegedly commits a crime be labeled a criminal enterprise? Should taxpayers whose money funds institutions where crimes sometimes occur, be accused of supporting criminal organizations? This is the logical conclusion of such a dangerous precedent, and it's one that should concern every American citizen and any other international onlookers. Let's not forget that the American taxpayer funds the Department of Justice, the courts and law enforcement agencies where criminals are not uncommon. If there are bad actors within these institutions, does that mean that every tax-paying citizen is complicit in financing a criminal enterprise? Obviously not. Yet this is exactly the kind of logic being applied to R. Kelly's case. What we are fighting for in R. Kelly's case is about more than just one individual. It's about the integrity of the justice system, which affects all of us. If RICO is stretched beyond its original intent, this abuse of the law will not stop with only celebrities. This overreach could be used against small business owners, upcoming artists, politicians, or even nonprofit organizations. Imagine a church being labeled a RICO enterprise because a member of its congregation commits a crime. Imagine a big tech company being indicted under RICO because one employee engages in fraud. The implications are terrifying. This case is in fact setting the stage for how the justice system will treat individuals and organizations in the future. Will we allow a flawed interpretation of the law to redefine what constitutes criminal enterprise, or will we demand that the courts uphold the true original intent of RICO? All Americans have got to decide. At the end of the day, the principle at stake is fairness. Jennifer Bonjean has made a compelling argument that the government's approach in this case is not just legally unsound but a threat to the justice system itself. The prosecution has failed to prove that R. Kelly operated a criminal enterprise under RICO's intended definition. And if we allow this misuse to stand, we are paving the way for future legal overreach that could impact anyone, including our sons and daughters. So where do we draw the line? Do we accept a justice system that selectively applies laws to target individuals while ignoring misconduct in its own ranks? Or do we demand consistency, fairness, and adherence to the true purpose of our legal statutes? Let's continue the conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on legal and social issues. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and stand for justice always. If you want to be featured in our video releases, send us your clips by emailing them to hnnewsroom242@gmail.com or use Google Drive for larger files. Be sure to include your name and any details you'd like us to know. We can't wait to showcase your contributions. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.